You need to actually, with a cognitive eye here, observing yourself and noticing how useful every single thought that you're having is, whether it's useful. It's like an example, somebody said, they put on their computer to pay their phone bill, they took the credit card, and they're like, oh, poor me, I have to do all this by myself. And they spend half an hour with those thoughts, causing pain and causing anguish to themselves, rather than putting on the computer, paying the phone bill, shutting the computer, and carrying on, right? So self-anguish, how to silence the inner critic. So the silencing of the inner critic, first you have to get to know your inner critic, right? First, you have to actually observe it. Make notes. Take a piece of paper. Write down everything that your inner critic is telling you. And it's really funny. And you take same time every day for a week. Spend a few minutes. Write down everything your inner critic is telling you. Yeah? Once you've got the words out on a piece of paper, let go of them from your mind. Yeah? And then half an hour later, when you're feeling differently, go back and look at that paper. Because moods can evolve, moods can change, right? But our baseline, our core stays intact. So it's really important to realize that the moods do not make us, and we are not those moods. We are everything but those moods. The mood is actually a theater of imagination. It's nothing that's helpful or useful. By writing down everything your inner critic's telling you, and then going back and looking at it and saying, is that useful to me? Does it help me? And how can I reframe those words of the negative inner critic and turn them into positive? How can I rewrite the same thing, but being kind to myself and saying, you know what? Yeah, I get scared when something happens. Say, well, no, I don't have fear. I actually am excited and willing to see what can happen and what can transpire from this, and it's allowing me to grow. So taking the words of the inner critic and reframing them so that you're actually consciously making an effort to change the way you're thinking with yourself. The words we speak to ourselves are the harshest we have. And it's crazy that no one ever talks about the words that they speak to themselves, right? And it's actually the most important thing to do, because that's where the baseline is of who we are and how we're behaving and how we're functioning. If we're projecting negative, it's like when you're going to a shopping mall and you're looking for a car parking space and someone says, oh, I never find a space, and they don't find a space. And someone says, I find a space right now every time I come, and you will. So there's a lot of this, people think it's funny and it doesn't make sense, but it actually works. The positive projections help us.